Your relationship with money affects several things in your life. It affects how you feel about yourself and the plans you get to make. Like any other relationship, it can also get toxic. We've listed a few habits that we know are just toxic for your bank account and prevent you from saving. Number 10. Comparing your financial situation. There's a reason why they say comparison is the thief of joy. It is also the thief of your money. Two emotions come into play whenever you play the comparison game. Either you feel down or your pride puffs up. Either way, your next move is usually to spend your money to try and catch up or to cement your status as someone doing better. You end up buying things you don't need because of peer influence. It's now much easier to compare yourself with social media and the global community. Everyone posts their highs, and this creates an unrealistic mindset because you have to live with your low moments. You never know if your friends have been let off from work when you are surrounded by news on promotions. And once they start buying their expensive gadgets and items, you start to think you should keep up. If you are spending, you are clearly not saving. Celebrate other people's success, but don't be pressured to keep up. Number 9. Lending money. We all know the benefits of generosity. And we give because life is unpredictable, and if you find yourself in the same situation, you would want people to come through for you. There's nothing wrong with lending money, but you can also read when the people in your circles are taking you for granted. They say they will pay up, but never do, and before they have paid up the last loan, they ask you for some more money. You are not being a bad friend when you say no. It will also help them get their finances together when they know you are not their plan B all the time. It will also help your relationships when you remove that monetary aspect from it. In the long run, you will be able to save considerably more. This is because you don't notice how much you lose when you give it out. However, you can budget out the money you use for social calls. Life happens and friends may need help or have something you can help them with. So make a budget for that and keep to it. Number 8. Living above your means. You probably know someone who is straining themselves just to look a certain way. The problem with this is that people can always tell when you're faking, just like you can tell that your friend can't afford the sneakers they are walking around in. You need to learn to live within your means. It is honest and people like you better when you are not faking. There is so much you can do within your own budget. Rather than book that expensive trip, think of a staycation in an Airbnb location near you. You can also find cheaper ways to entertain yourself. Go to poetry recitals or watch movies from home. Learn to say no to events and items you know will set you back. You don't need to be eating out every day. Even though it looks like a few dollars, it piles up and takes a lot out of your pocket. When you live within your means and focus on priorities, you will be able to save. Number 7. Being emotional about money. Money can be an emotional subject, and sometimes when faced with emotional subjects, we do two things: act stupid or ignore the matter. The same is true for money. It doesn't help you to ignore your finances. Look at your financial statements and credit reports. Find a way to improve your credit score. Get a system that will help you pay off your debts. You also don't need to be stupid about your money. Some people simply give up. They look at their debt and think it is already bad enough and more debt won't hurt. But more debt will hurt. Don't go spending all of your money because you are going through a breakup. When you get money, spend it rationally. Learn to ignore the emotions that don't help you. You might feel like you will die if you don't get that jacket, but good news, you will not die. And after a few hours, that feeling will pass, and you will have saved your money as well. Number 6. Ignoring your subscriptions. Having subscriptions is a good way to ensure you never go without the things that bring you joy. You get to listen to your favorite artists and keep up with all the shows you enjoy. You also don't have to break a sweat since the things are delivered to you. Subscriptions also include memberships like the gym. It is easy to get trapped into more subscriptions because they are also very easy to sign up for. It might look like a few dollars, but if you have over 8 subscriptions, you are parting with close to or more than $325 every month. In a year, you would have lost about $4,000 or more. You also forget to keep track of this expenditure because it is automated. Cut down on your subscriptions. If you haven't used a service for more than a month, then you should cut it out. You can always resubscribe when you have a use for it. Before you add any new subscriptions, go through the list of what you have. That is money you could be saving. Number 5. Going on one stream of income. If you have the time, it's always advisable to get another stream of income. That way, you can decide to save one full stream of income and spend the other. There are many avenues that can allow you to have a second source of income, especially in the digital age. You can have a YouTube channel or a blog, or you could offer your skills on freelancing sites like Upwork and Fiverr. Having multiple streams of income gives you a wider income base to work with for your savings. Don't waste your time doing unproductive things like gambling. Invest your time. You can take your hobby and turn it into a moneymaker. Number 4. Ignoring an emergency fund. Various things happen in life that are unplanned. Your car could break down, you could get an infestation in your house and need to leave, and you could, unfortunately, be involved in an accident. These are things you don't see coming, but things that need your quick response all the same. If you don't have an emergency fund like most people, you'll have to take it from your savings bank account. According to various surveys, the average American can't raise $300 in an emergency. So it's important that you have an emergency fund separate from your savings account. It is advisable to keep at least $1,000 in it. When you don't have to constantly worry about what you will do when things go wrong, you can save. Number 3. Depending on credit cards. Credit cards are handy tools, especially when you don't have money. But overly relying on them has its downfalls. Credit cards can sink you deep into debt if you don't learn how to control your usage. In 2015, a survey found that Americans had over $900 billion in credit card debt. It's easy to just swipe your card for every expense. The problem with this is that you can't easily keep track of what you're spending. Rather than having about 4 or more credit cards, limit yourself to 2. Have a card freeze where you pay in cash. This way you will help keep track of what you are spending and keep you more conscious of the things you buy but actually don't need. For example, you don't need to add snacks to every shopping you do. Those are expenses that add up over time into a lot of money. Make sure to pay off your balances too. Paying a minimum doesn't help because it is carried over and the interest also grows. Get familiar with your credit card statement and find ways to manage it better. Number 2. Not having a budget. Having a budget keeps you from overspending while covering all of your basics. It's also easy to engage in impulsive shopping and double shopping when you don't know what payments you need to make. A budget will also keep you accountable for every amount of money you get. It simply acts as a tool to tell your money where to go, and it is always better for you to control your money instead of your money controlling you. It will also help you make rational decisions when it comes to money. For your budget, list out your payments and your priorities. Keep it somewhere you can easily access. Once you have paid for the most important things, you can spend the extra on things you want. You can decide how long you want to budget for. It can be weekly or monthly or even annually. Make a budget that you are sure you can stick to. It doesn't have to be a strict thing, so make sure you budget for the fun things you like to do, like eating out with friends or taking trips. If you enjoyed it so far, please like this video and leave a comment. What is your best way to save money? Number 1. Not saving. It's true, the habit that keeps you from saving is not saving. It is easy to imagine that you will save more when you start earning more, but that is not always the case. The way you relate with money when you've got a little is exactly how you will relate with money when it increases. Saving is a discipline. You need to learn to do it with a little so that you don't have to think twice when you get more. Start with a piggy bank if the visual will help keep you committed. You can also automate your savings at your bank. As soon as the money hits the account, your savings will be deducted. This helps because sometimes, with all the things you need money for, it is hard to remember to save. As you make your budget, make sure you take off your savings first. Your expenditure should be what is left after that deduction. You should also have a goal for your savings. Maybe you are saving for something, or you are saving a certain amount. Whatever goal you set, it is important to have one because it spurs you on to do what needs to be done.